situation. That could be a man you just hooking up with. That could be a female you just hooking up with. It could be your sister-in-law and you know she ain't shit, but your brother still messing with her. It could be any type of situation. It's not always a man doing wrong. Sometimes it's women who do wrong. And I think that the problem is that people don't know how to sit here and just keep the shit to themselves. If you ain't going there, if you ain't going nowhere, leave it right there. Leave it alone. Don't sit up here and try to take away from the fact that you're so strong. Oh, I'm so strong. I'm independent. I dumped the nigga. Ain't everybody done been with somebody that wasn't shit and stayed there. That's normal. We all done slept with shit and slept with a dog. So, and what I mean by that is we all have stayed in something or stayed around situations, family and friendships and relationships, and been in things that we knew that didn't do anything for us. When things stop feeding you, you have to let it go. You cannot have things around you that are dead. When situations are dead, remove yourself. It doesn't mean that you have to sit up here and be the almighty, oh, I'm right, and you're a bad person. Sometimes people ain't bad people. Sometimes they just gotta be removed from your life. I tell people sometimes I literally have wondered and thought about it many times about how people get mad at people for being them authentic selves. If somebody ain't shit, just let them be that. Stop trying to make people into the version that you want them to be, because that's the biggest thing. I always say, do what you want to do. When I give people advice, I always say, do what you want to do. Do it how you want to do it. I'm not going to tell you what to do, because ultimately, if I tell you what to do and it don't work out, you're going to come back at me like I did something to you. And that's just not the case. I ain't do nothing to you. I just was sitting here giving you advice, which you asked for. So my friend, he called me many times and tells me things about this particular person and how they want, like if they do threesomes together, the friend wants to do stuff to him and how he really don't want to, but he ended up compromising. I said, well, at this point, you've been doing this for years. You must like it. You must like being in the situation. So you want to be a victim so bad that you want to sit here and call and complain about the person, but yet you're still dealing with them. When you're really over something or ready to remove something from your life, you stop getting emotional about it. You stop getting angry about it. And I'm not saying that don't take time. I'm not saying that don't even take a few months or even a year. But don't sit up here and act like a situation is dead and you still sitting there believing and messing with it. Like I have 9 sisters, and a lot of them done stayed with baby daddies that wasn't shit, didn't do nothing for their kids, didn't do nothing for them, wasn't there when their kid was in the hospital or going through anything. But guess what? They still stay around and then want to sit up here and get mad at people when maybe they have forgiven them and you haven't. Just because you forgive your baby father for being a shit, for whooping your ass or beating you or knocking your eye all over the place or doing drugs or just doing things that I wouldn't say are of what you say you claim to be, that doesn't mean that I sit up here and have to forgive him too, even though he done knocked you upside your eye and you don't look like a joker. I think people got to really understand that you can forgive. That don't mean that your family or friends will when somebody do you dirty. Your family and friends may sit up here and be like, yo, I'm not fucking with that situation. Like, you back with him? I bet. Because I'm one of those people, like, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I'm going to just stop being around you. I'm not going to sit up here and let myself be in a situation where you keep crying to me about that nigga knocking you upside your head, and then you sitting there crying about it, and then you back with him the next week. Like, get over yourself. At the end of the day, you're going to sit up here and go be with him anyway, so you might as well just sit up here and go ahead and be with him. Don't hide it. Don't be in secret about it. It's okay. Nobody is going to be mad at you. I know I'm not. I think more so, I think for me, I'm not even gonna be mad. I think more so I'll be like, I'll shake my head and I'm not gonna lie. I'll probably talk to my husband about it and sit up there and go sit down with him and say, listen, they doing X, Y, and Z. And then I hate how people get mad at you for talking to your spouse about how you feel about a situation. If you don't want my spouse to know, I don't think I'm the person you should tell. Because 90% of the things that I am told, I'm gonna talk to my spouse about it. I am, because I'm gonna like, listen, this is what I said, this is what they said, what you think, right? But when it comes to certain things that if you say, listen, this is something that is, hard for me to reveal, or I don't want nobody to know about it, I will respectfully not tell my spouse. But somebody had called me a pillow talker, like, oh, you pillow talking, you tell your husband everything. Yeah, and okay, I know that. Like you saying it like I don't know it. I never said I didn't. I said I've always been honest and said 90% of the stuff that people tell me, Maurice gonna know about it. And if you get mad about it, I understand. You could be mad, but that ain't gonna take away that I'm still gonna tell her. So it's just like, how you mad at me for ultimately just you saying I'm pillow talking. No, this isn't my boyfriend that I'm just living in different places and we just running our mouths about the same circle. Because me and my husband don't even have the same friends. He is friends with some of my friends. I don't really know his friends, and that's not due to anything bad. It's just that he moved to where I lived, and I had lived in the city in Brooklyn, New York, and then he had lived in Long Island, New York. So he moved where I was, versus us being in the same place, living in the same town for a long period of time, and then ending up, meeting each other. So, and then we moved to a different state where I knew people, and he's met his own friends and made his own friends in the last 2 years. But ultimately, like, he tell me things that be going on with his family and friends too. Like, you think he not gonna tell me? Like, his sisters, his siblings, my sisters, my siblings, we gonna tell each other. I think people need to realize, people in marriages or in relationships are gonna talk about the situations that their friends go through sometimes. That don't mean we bad people. Now, I ain't sitting up here telling the world and gossiping to this one and that one. I'm sitting here telling my partner that I lay down with every night. Now, certain things that your friends or family tell you about, please, you should just keep them to yourself, because some of those things, you got to know when to cut it. You got to know when to stop. You got to know when not to sit up here and mix the flavor of what your partner got going on. Because sometimes you don't want to tell people things about your partner and then they end up like hating them. People will start hating your partner when you get in situations and arguments or anything like that. If you know you're not leaving, do not tell your partner. Do not tell your partner's business to your friends. Do not tell your partner what that your partner did to make you angry, if you are going to stay, because those people are not going to forgive like you do. And I think that a lot of people have to understand something. You can't tell people that love you that somebody's hurting you and then expect them to just jump and forgive them because it worked out for this month or next month, and then y'all back in the same situation. Nah, when you really done, you'll sit up here and let me know. But until then, please just keep it to yourself. If that nigga knock you upside your head and you ain't leaving, what you telling me for? You need to tell the police. You need to go tell the police, because at the end of the day, I'm not here for it. I will defend you, but if I'm going to defend you and you're going to be back in that situation, what was the point? Why put me in a situation where I could get in trouble, I could get hurt, or something bad can transpire between me getting hurt or somebody getting hurt because you are in your emotions knowing you ain't going nowhere. You know that you ain't leaving. Yet you sitting here adding people to the mix of your issues and making it a big deal. At this point, I don't have friends call me like, oh, he did this to me, he did that to me, and I'm